Good morning everyone and welcome to Headingley in Leeds for the third day of the third test match between New Zealand and the West Indies. The West Indies in their first innings are 30 for 2, still 447 runs behind New Zealand and 1-0 down in the series. They, to put it simply, need a very good batting day today. Brian Lara and Viv Richards at the crease. The West Indies will be desperate for some big scores from those two, as well as Garfield Sobers and Clive Lloyd to come. Life will be made more difficult by the fact that we have overcast conditions today and New Zealand do bowl well under cloudy skies. Also, don't forget, New Zealand are 1-0 up in the series and the first team to win 2 test matches will be crowned champions. We join the action now as Tim Southee runs in to bowl the first ball of the day to Brian Lara. New Zealand could do some real damage in these overcast conditions. Lara is back and across and in behind that first ball from Southee. Lara's away with a beautiful cover drive all the way to the boundary. Oh, that's a magnificent shot from Lara. Hadley trying to cramp him from around the wicket, but he threw his hand to that and that raced away. Oh, that'll be 6. That's a typical Richards strike down the ground. Well, could this be the West Indies' day? Oh, that's nicely timed from Viv Richards into the gap. That's gone to the boundary and will be 4 more. That's the 50 up now for the West Indies. Hadley strays onto the pads and that's beautifully whipped away from Brian Lara. That's another boundary. That's a glorious cover drive from Viv Richards. It's been a good start for the West Indies. Stephen Fleming brings on Chris Cairns. Oh, that ball swung a bit after the bat to beat Watling and it's gone down to the boundary for 4 bites. Oh, plenty of movement out there. A big shot from Richard Hadley. Was there an edge on that? The umpire doesn't think so. Well, that might be 4 as well. Lara offering the full face of the bat and punching it down the ground. Oh, that's superb bowling from Cairns. Beat Lara, all ends up. That's a good response from Lara. Pulled away and that's raced away to the boundary. Oh, that's been absolutely hammered down the ground from Viv Richards for 4 more. Superbly played from Viv Richards. That's through mid-on and will bring up the 100 for the West Indies. Oh, Lara's looking in fine form out there in the middle. What joy for the crowd here at Headingley. And this one slashed away out towards the point boundary and Brian Lara now moves on to 49. Yes, Brian Lara yet to reach a century in this championship, but that will be 50. That's going down towards the boundary. Will it make it? No, it won't. They'll run through for a couple, possibly for 3, yes. And that will be the third 50 of the series for Brian Lara, his 7th of the championship, and hopefully for the West Indies, a step towards bigger and better things. Oh, smashed away from Richards. The West Indies are on top this morning. Oh, Lara's out. That's a huge wicket for New Zealand and was not in the game plan for the West Indies. Lara is gone. Caught Taylor bowled Bond for 52. And the West Indies are 117 for 3. That is a huge blow for the West Indies, but they still have 2 excellent batsmen out in the middle. That's lifted up and over extra cover and will be 4 more. Well, that's a nice shot again from Viv Richards. Inside out through the offside for 4 and that will be his 50. Works down to 5. Oh dear, that's gone straight through Chris Cairns' legs. And this one off the edge and down towards the 3rd man boundary for 4 more. Just a little over pitch from Victoria. A good use of the feet from Richards and down the ground for 4 more. Oh, this is exhilarating batting from Richards. He's really trying to turn the West Indies' fortunes around. Pulled away in front of square. To the boundary, the first for Garfield Sobers and the 150 up for the West Indies. Another excellent pull shot from Sobers. He's so quick to pick up on the length. Squirted away down towards 3rd man and that will be 4 as well. A big shot from Richard Hadley, but that ball probably going down the leg side. Let's have a look at the replay. Played out into the offside. That's beaten the fielder on the boundary and will be 4 more. That's been mistimed from Sobers, but it's wide a bit off over the bowler's head and down to the boundary for 4. Oh, we're seeing some fantastic batting this morning. That will be 4 more. And that will be lunch on day 3. The crowd have been treated to a great show from the West Indies batsmen this morning. They've scored 154 runs at 5.3 runs and over. It's been very entertaining viewing. Brian Lara, the only man out in that session, 452. Viv Richards is looking magnificent on 80 not out from 107 balls. He is joined by Garfield Sobers on 31 off just the 33 balls. They both look like they mean business today. The West Indies will be desperate for both of them to push on to very big scores. 5 bowlers used for New Zealand. The 2 wickets for Richard Hadlee he took last night, and 1 wicket also for Shane Bond. That's the wicket of Brian Lara. A full toss from Shane Bond, and Sobers has no problem putting that one away for 4. Well, that was only just short of a length, but Sobers has pulled it away, and that brings up the 200 for the West Indies. Oh, there's still plenty of movement out there under these cloudy skies. Worked away through mid-wicket, there's no stopping that, that's 4 more. Oh, that's a glorious cut shot from Viv Richards, back and across and placing that ball right into the gap. Smash through the offside again, that will be 4, and that brings up the century for Isaac Vivian Alexander Richards. Oh, what a catch from BJ Watling. That was against the run of play. Viv Richards a century and out. He is gone. Caught Watling bowl Bond for 101, and the West Indies are 219 for 4. Well, that's just the lift that New Zealand would have been looking for. Oh, that must be out as well. A big shot from Richard Hadlee. The umpire says yes. 2 wickets and 2 balls for New Zealand. Sobers expecting the short ball. Caught trapped on the back foot. That would have hit the stumps, and he is gone as well. LBW to Hadlee for 43, and the West Indies are now 219 for 5. Pulled away from Dujon. That will go out towards the boundary. The West Indies need some runs from Dujon today. Oh, that's nicely clipped away from Clive Lloyd. That will be his first boundary as well. Clipped off the toes, and that will be 4 more. Turned away, very fine. That's actually beaten the fielder and will go for 4. Oh, that's a nice line from Chris Cairns. Big shot from Tim Southey, but Dujon was well forward there, probably getting himself hit outside the line of off stump. Oh, that's a nice shot from Dujon, down the ground for 4, and that will bring up the 250 for the West Indies. Oh, a big full toss from Tim Southey. He won't be happy with that. That's 4 more. Oh, and another full toss from Southey, and another 4 down the ground. That's been a good over for the West Indies. Oh, Dujon is playing very well. Just the tonic the West Indies needed after losing Richards and Sobers. Oh, that one spun down the line. That looks very close indeed. The umpire says, yes, that's out. New Zealand have the wicket of the West Indies captain. Beautifully bowled from Daniel Vettori. That's his first wicket. And Clive Lloyd is out. LBW to Vettori for 15. And the West Indies are 266 for 6. Well, deep trouble now for the West Indies. They should avoid the follow-on. They just need another 11 runs for that. That will be 4 of them. A nice shot from Dujon. Oh, slapped away through the offside. That will be 4 more. Nice bowling from Cairns. Was there an edge on that? The umpire doesn't think so. The West Indies have now avoided the follow-on. Edged and beautifully taken from Stephen Fleming. That's the 7th wicket down now for the West Indies. Andy Roberts is out. Caught Fleming bowled Hadlee for 6. And the West Indies are 285 for 7. Daniel Vettori bounding in. Oh, Holding's been trapped on the back foot, but that ball probably spinning past the stumps. Let's have a look at the replay. Oh, bowled him. Yes, Holding has looked all at sea against the guile of Daniel Vettori. He is out. Bowled Vettori for a duck. And the West Indies are 286 for 8. This will be the last over before tea. Oh, hit away in the air, but just short of Kate Williamson at point. Maybe he should be brought in a little bit closer. Oh, straight through. That's 5 wickets for Richard Hadlee. Dujon is out. Bowled Hadlee for 48. And the West Indies are 288 for 9. Curtly Ambrose, the last man for the West Indies. Oh, a big appeal from Richard Hadlee. Beautifully bowled, but the umpire says no. Perhaps that hit Ambrose outside the line of off stump. And that will be tea on day 3. This has been high-octane cricket from these two sides. 104 runs for the West Indies in that session, but 6 wickets for New Zealand. The West Indies are now 288 for 9. Let's have a look at the scorecard. Viv Richards played superbly for his century today, but he was out on the very next ball for 101. Some nice contributions also from Lara, Sobers and Dujon. But it's not enough for the West Indies. They are faltering again against this New Zealand bowling lineup, who are finding ways to take wickets. 5 wickets for Richard Hadlee, 5 for 76 for him, 2 wickets each for Shane Bond and Daniel Vettori. Oh, that's quick work from BJ Watling. Ambrose just wandering out of his crease, and he got the shock of his life when he heard that appeal from behind him. He is out. Stumped Watling, bowled Vettori for a duck, and the West Indies are all out for 289. Well, the West Indies will be disappointed with that in the end. 289 is not the total they were looking for. They're still 188 runs behind New Zealand. Daniel Vettori only needed 5 balls after tea to clean up the innings. He finished with figures of 3 for 24, 5 for Hadlee, 2 for Bond. This New Zealand side are proving that they are really on top of the West Indies at the moment. They haven't just come to this series to compete. They've come here to win, and they certainly deserve their place in this grand final series. It should be noted that we've been lucky to not have any rain today, so there might still be a way out for the West Indies if the heavens open up either this afternoon or tomorrow. Glenn Turner and Stephen Fleming are now out in the middle, prepared to extend New Zealand's lead of 188. Chopped away down to the boundary, and that's the first 4 of the innings. Beautifully bowled from Holding. Was there a little edge on that? The umpire certainly seems to think so. Stephen Fleming doesn't look happy with that decision, but he has to go. He is out. Court Dujon bowled Holding for 2, and New Zealand are 10 for 1. A full toss from Garner, and Kane Williamson has absolutely hammered that away to the boundary. Clipped around the corner. That's fine of the man at fine leg, and will be 4 runs. Oh, bowled him. That's gone straight through Glenn Turner's defences. He is out. Bowled Roberts for 12, and New Zealand are 29 for 2. We've seen some hostile bowling from the West Indies this evening. Well, that's another nice ball from Ambrose. A big appeal. The umpire says, yes, that's out. Williamson doesn't look happy with that. The West Indies are having some luck turn their way. Williamson has to go. Court Dujon bowled Ambrose for 16, and New Zealand are 33 for 3. Well, that will certainly relieve some of the pressure from Ross Taylor. That's 4. That ball kept a bit low from Ambrose. It's gone through Dujon and brings up the 50 for New Zealand. And that will be stumps on day 3. That's been a very impressive bowling session from the West Indies. New Zealand were lucky not to lose more than those 3 wickets. They're currently 56 for 3 with a lead of 244. Glenn Turner, Stephen Fleming and Kane Williamson all out in that session. Martin Crowe is at the crease on 10. He's joined by Ross Taylor on 11. 5 bowlers used for the West Indies. A wicket each for Michael Holding, Andy Roberts and Curtly Ambrose. This break and play will be very good for New Zealand, but when they look back and assess the efforts across the day, they will come to realise that they are in a very good position. New Zealand lead by 244 runs with 7 second innings wickets in hand and 2 days play remaining, although we are expecting some bad weather tomorrow. This pitch is also starting to go up and down slightly, so New Zealand will feel that they are in the box seat. The West Indies played well in patches today. They'll need to keep playing well in the rest of this match if they want to escape with a draw or an unlikely victory. That's it from us. Do join us tomorrow for day 4, and bye for now.